I promise on the next
one. All right,
one.
we are sitting in a smart car. Now, I'm kind of laughing right now because it's kind of funny to me. Totaling, we're about 6'4" piece, about 12'8" combined. And we look kind of like a gay couple right now.
It's just a little, it's kind of awkward. But it's surprisingly, I mean, they're like golf carts on steroids, I'll be honest. I'm kind of biased, but I'm going to just put it out there. But still the same fact is this actually does have the good attributes. It has a good amount of room for being 6'4". Both of us are fitting in here awfully comfortably. It's a different kind of vehicle. There's no front end really, and there's no back end. You're just kind of here.
Now, the thing about this vehicle is, being honest, 100% honest, like I understand it's very green friendly, but I can imagine getting hit by an Escalade being in this thing because there'd be nothing left. Now, I understand, you know, eco-friendly, but I also understand, you know, life-friendly or living-friendly. And this is definitely not my idea of friendly in either one of those areas. So
if they can get the safety issues up, I know it can drive on the American roads. That means it had to have meeting some kind of crash safety standard test.
You only died 95% of the time.
Exactly. Unofficial statistic. But
I'm just guessing.
I would definitely say that they need some work on the safety end. That was one of the most peculiar things that I thought of as soon as I opened the car was the car doors.
The heaviest part of the vehicle.
The heaviest and largest part of the vehicle, I would say. The whole side of the vehicle opens. And it's like a huge gaping hole in the car. And it's a massive door. For such a little car, it's got a bigger door than any other car that I've been here in the show yet.
Yeah.
So
smart cars, I think, are very eco-friendly, and they're kind of a fun, go-karty kind of car, but not something I would drive particularly.
Certainly.
But something we wouldn't mind sitting in, and something I wouldn't mind taking around a track or something.
Certainly, or definitely taking it around a track. Or I would say this would be a very good urban thing. If you lived in a housing community or a gated community, I would definitely say if you had friends.
From one house to the next.
Yeah, it's definitely a one house to the next kind of car. It'll get you the gas mileage to go there because it can last that long. But I definitely wouldn't take it out on the highway. I don't think I'd take it more than a couple of blocks.
Yeah.
Just for safety issues for me.
Going on the highway, this thing would be like going down a main road in a scooter to me, just because of the size, and just because I feel so like vulnerable.
A little unsafe. So that's our take on the smart car. This is all Out Octane.
We are sitting in the official car of the Italian job. Yes, the Mini Cooper. Surprisingly, from the outside, it looks like a very small car, but the inside is actually very roomy. Two of us are in this car very, very comfortably.
Definitely, and I would say that this car has, the door is a very large part of this car as well, but we definitely fit in this car. I definitely feel a lot more comfortable, a little bit more safer in this one. Something that's a little bit lower to the ground than the Smart was. I really wouldn't compare the Mini to the Smart. It's like apples to oranges. They're really not quite the same. They're small, yes, but two totally different vehicles.
Yeah.
One feature I do find cool was once we got in here is the heating, or the windows. The windows and the lock are actually on the center console and are actually switches for up and down. So instead of having everything on the door, it's on the switches here in the middle. And I find the switch idea kind of cool. It's definitely kind of retro.
Yeah, so. I think it's a good vehicle. I feel like as far as miles per gallon and how small it is, and it's very practical. So definitely, I know a lot of people who actually come back from deployment because you get a bonus usually. Yep. They can actually straight up buy a lot of these vehicles this size just because the extra money they have. So
certainly,
something to look into. Definitely something to rob banks in.
Yeah, as the movie's shown that.
As the movie did show. I don't think we're robbing banks, but still, they were running. That's the cool part.
Don't recommend that.
I don't recommend that, but if you want to, go for it.
But and it's pretty much you're buying a small BMW. BMW does own the division of Mini, so a lot of the
it's like a plastic BMW.
It is a plastic BMW. Pretty much, the interior is very plasticky, but the colors mix well. Everything's laid out quite nicely, and you can definitely tell that there's a luxury hint to this vehicle. So here we are in the 2010 Porsche. Cayenne 2010 Porsche Cayenne GTS Triptonic. Now this thing is quite impressive. It's not a turbo or anything, but we got in this thing and felt right at home on this thing. The pedals on this thing are racing kind of pedals. The steering wheel is awfully sporty looking.
Oh yeah.
something about this vehicle that is very comparable to the SRX or the RX, but I gotta tell you, the seats in this thing are amazing. You just kind of sink into them. Even though they're leather, you just kind of fit perfectly around you. It's a 4.8 liter engine, 402 horsepower. This thing will get up and go.
That's
enough
hauling.
to scare your children if
Definitely.
you're driving around with them. Definitely a car as far as luxury. It's Porsche. You know, the luxury is there. It beats, you know, it beats Cadillac.
Certainly.
It beats the Lexus, and so you just kind of think about it. If you got the kind of money to spend on this thing, you know, I say go for it, because if you want an SUV that will haul and that will give you great performance, definitely go with this vehicle.
I would agree. The interior on this thing, just looking at the dashboard, I'm thinking, holy moly, am I in a race car or am I in an SUV? So that's how impressive this vehicle is, and I would definitely say look into this one if you're in that type. The 2010 Volvo S40. This car is about a $30,000 car. It's just under $30,000. Half of what the other S80, I'm pretty sure that's the S80 over there. The S80 was at about $50,000. What you're getting for the money in these cars, I haven't figured that out. This is definitely, we got in this thing thinking $30,000. It looks like a Toyota Camry inside.
Yeah, it really is very much comparable to the Camry series, and just from the inside,
very boring, very
very
boring,
bland,
dull.
not much going on in these vehicles. It's a 5-cylinder engine, pretty much comparable to the Camry, which I think is a 6, and then the Jetta which
was
is
a 5.
So almost the same exact thing, but we're talking, you know,
Huge
about
difference
$10,000 to $15,000 difference compared on what kind of package you get. So I would definitely, being honest, in my 100% opinion, I would completely leave Volvo out of the picture when it comes to trying to find practical cars, because this is a lot of money for a very, very almost plain car.
Yeah, certainly. Very small car as well. I would definitely say this is targeted at an older audience.
Older generation.
I'm nothing against the older people. It is targeted to a more older audience, that is for sure. It is definitely trying to put a retro, modern retro look to the car. It's got some sleek design here, a little bit, but it's also very plain. And it's, as I've stated before, it has a phone option in here, which is certainly something
pretty much the only thing that's going on here. Show them. The only thing going on with this console basically is that, and that is it. Everything else is just, we got emergency lights, keys right there. We have a very, very small digital area, and so four knobs. We have the sound, we have volume, we have auto as far as air conditioning, and then the same thing down here. So not much to look at, and nothing really impressive that would make it stand out as making anything on Out Octane's list of vehicles.
Absolutely. This is definitely a big surprise in our book, and if this is the rest of the Volvos, then we're probably not going to hang here for long. So we're in the 2010 Audi A5 Quattro.
Cute, because that was the same sort of
So we're in the
feature.
2010 Audi Q5 3.2 Quattro Triptonic. Now this thing is definitely an interesting breed of vehicles.
It is. You can tell it is specifically modeled as to the Cayenne, the Porsche Cayenne, just from the inside, from the way it's set up, and also the upholstery and everything else in it. As far as the liter engine, it's very similar, except for that was a 4.2 liter in the Cayenne. This one has about 270 in horsepower compared to the Cayenne, which has about 402. So that's definitely a big difference that will compare in monetary value of the vehicle. What do you think about comfort-wise?
I would say this car is definitely very comfortable. It looks like it has a little bit more legroom in the back as opposed to what the Porsche did. I was definitely over here in the passenger seat. This definitely has some room into it. I feel awfully secure about it. The dashboard itself is very clean, very slim. Headroom is incredibly well on this thing. We got a killer huge sunroof on this thing. It does go all the way back. Absolutely.
We see a lot of sports vehicle manufacturers that are actually going into the area now of crossovers, and it's just kind of a big area, kind of a marketing area tool for them right now. And so we're seeing the Cayennes, and we're seeing, you know, the Lexus and the Cadillac, and they're all going into that crossover market. So keep an eye out, because we're gonna have some pretty great performance vehicles coming out of the crossovers that we kind of overlook.
Certainly, and I would imagine that along with the luxury and performance will come the price. But eventually, I'm sure if everybody gets into the market, now that we got Audi in the market, we got Porsche in the market, BMW is certainly jumping in, Cadillac, and Buick getting in there a little bit as well, you'll start to see the prices start to vary from high to low ends based on what you get and which brand you'll get. But I would definitely say that once the competition starts heating up, prices will drop, you'll get better performance and better looks. But I would say right now, Audi's got a pretty nice product here. 2010 Dodge Challenger. This thing is definitely quite interesting. I'm going to start off with the ergonomics first of all. The door, this car is a huge car. I'm just going to put that out there first off. The door is awfully large on this thing. It's a big, heavy door. I sat down in here and it's awfully dark. I've noticed that the headroom is clear, it's decent, but it's very dark in this car. I don't even know if you can possibly see me right now. I can't monitor it. But the pistol grip shift is awesome. I do like that. What also I noticed though too is the depth in this car. This car is large and long. I sit back here and there's probably a good 3 feet, I'm not even kidding you, from the top of the dash that you can see to the window.
Yeah.
It is incredibly large, and then you have to add on the hood to this thing, and this is a very big vehicle, both wide and long. So definitely something
it's got to be a vehicle for what it's actually holding inside of it. You know, we're talking a 5.7 liter V8 Hemi. Definitely retro American. This is an American muscle car, and that's kind of I think what they were going for, and this is why it's so popular, is because it kind of speaks to the retro aspect of American culture.
Absolutely.
And so this goes back to Trans Am era and things of that nature. It kind of has that feel to it. So this definitely has an honorable mention, and definitely I think props for American automakers for throwing this one out there.
Certainly. And this car, before we got to it, just to put it out there, this car had a lot of people around it.
A lot of foot traffic.
Definitely. It took us a little bit to get in this vehicle, so it's definitely a hot item here at the show. And just so we thought we'd put it on the honorable mention on
and it's
all
$38,000 for the base price.
Absolutely.
Well, 32 for the base price, about 38 after the package.
With all the options and stuff. So definitely $38,000 for an American icon. You ain't gonna get much better than that. So that's why it's received all Out Octane's honorable. So here we are in a 2010 Lincoln MKX. This one took me by surprise. It's almost a $50,000 vehicle. How much did it come in at?
It's about
$48,000. I don't really like the dashboard. It seems like something pulled straight out of the 70s.
This is kind of like we were talking about earlier as far as trying to reach that matured audience. This is definitely another vehicle as far as Volvo, and also Lincoln is doing the same exact thing. I thought for a while it'd be Buick doing that, but Lincoln's kind of stepped up their game on mature audience level, and it's kind of, like you said, it's kind of like a 70s coloration going on. And then we have all the wood paneling, which is fine. It's glossed over, which is nice, but the way it's set up and for the price it is, you can get the Yukon for about $5,000 more. And the Yukon is, obviously much bigger, and I think much better in performance than this vehicle is. So I would definitely, as far as the Lincoln area, be very careful. I feel like they're very overpriced for what you're getting.
I would totally agree with that one. There's a square dash that I was talking about. But yeah, I would definitely agree with my colleague Josh on this one. A little overpriced. And it's actually a small vehicle too. I mean, this thing is not much bigger. We'll give you a picture of it here soon. But definitely overpriced. So.
Okay, well here we are on 2010 Tundra 4x4. This thing is massive. It is a 5.7 liter V8 engine, just insanely large, insanely loud. Definitely lots of room inside.
I would totally agree with that one.
It's a good, I guess it's a good car as far as being Toyota. It's a good truck to be able to, I guess, kind of go up against your other, like, Sierras and things like that. The larger vehicles.
Silverado, Dodge.
Silverado, a lot of the Chevy area, the Dodge area. It's definitely Toyota, bringing some.
Absolutely, this thing
truck
completely competes head on, and if not, outdoes some of the American trucks. This one starts off at $29,000, has jumped up to $36,000. This thing's got an incredible amount of features on this thing. It's got 13 on the city, 17 on the highway, so this thing is sucking gas. You might think Toyota, gas saving, not this truck, sorry. This thing is definitely your high-end Toyota truck, and it is made for performing duties and work. This is not a daily driver, I would say.
Let's try the inside. What do you think about the inside area?
I would say it's got a lot
It's
of
not.
space.
It's not elaborate. It's got, you know, the plastic knobs. Nothing
Certainly.
elaborate, but
It's
but
not
it's
a
definitely.
6-seater either. This is
No.
only a 5-seater. Something that Silverado does have over that is it has a 6-seater. This is only a 5. 2010. Dodge Ram. This is the Bighorn edition. This thing is got the turbo Cummins diesel in this thing. It's a beast. Definitely would say I can understand why this is 2010 automobiles truck of the year. Absolutely massive. Totally takes out Tundra, I believe.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for watching this episode of All Octane as we attend the 2010 Hampton Roads Auto Show. Thanks for coming along. We're a little tired. We've been in quite a few cars. It's been a good day. A lot of great cars seen, and I'm looking forward to putting the episode up so you can see everything, see how it went. Thanks for tuning in.